Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the Multi-Region Purchasing Cooperative, the Food Service View. This is my first webinar in a series of 4, and it is being recorded. And this is a live panel that you are seeing on your screen. I've got 7 companies represented today, and they each have been handed a set of topics to discuss that are specific to their companies, but also in general terms about what's been happening due to COVID, how it's affecting their production levels, if they can have the ability to switch to individually wrapped or pre-portion packed items, how does that affect their production levels? What are some of their thoughts about reopening and where their company will be in providing products, and what is their focus? So lots to talk about. This is a conversation that I feel has been lacking between our manufacturers and distributors, as well as my directors. And this webinar was opened up to all districts in the state of Texas. So this is not specific to my co-op. I believe we are a village, and I know some people hate to hear that word, but I'm going to say it. So welcome. So I'm going to ask the panelists to at least mute themselves. Each one will be given 12 minutes to present, talk to you guys. I have Elizabeth Gonzalez, my commodity specialist, on board. She is managing the Q&A panel. You will not see the option for a chat panel today. We are only using the Q&A panel. There should be a link at the bottom of your screen. And we do ask that as you type in your questions, if you can keep them specific to the topic, that will be helpful. Elizabeth will be watching the questions. As each panelist comes to an end with their 12 minutes, we'll maybe entertain a few of the questions and then move on to the next panelist. There should be plenty of time at the end. I have allowed for 2 hours if we go that long for as many questions as possible after all panelists have been given an opportunity to talk. And just to give you a review of who we have today on the panel. So I've got Ryan Richardson from Trident Seafoods. I've got Maria Bowen from Alpha Foods. I've got Frank, and I'm probably going to kill your last name, Frank, Masabni, and James Crosby from Cool Tropics. And Frank's in the cowboy hat if you're wondering, if you don't know Frank. I've got Winnie Chang from Chef's Corner, Meredith Edwards from Dole Food Service, and then I've got Rita LaCroix from Labatt Food Service, as well as Keri Block from McCain Foods. And you see Lena Wilson on there. She is our wonderful Texas Department of Agriculture rep. And if there are any questions that might pop up that she would be better to answer, she has been given the ability to talk as well. So we've got a full board this morning. I'm really excited about this setup and what's to come. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton to Ryan Richardson, and they're going in an order in the way that they signed up to be a participant on this panel. So, all right, Ryan, take it away.
Hey, thanks. I see as James joined, I guess I should have brought my cowboy hat today, so I apologize in advance. And then I was going to wear my fishing hat, but my headset got in the way. Thanks to Keri for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's nice to have a kind of a platform to talk about some of the things we're challenged with, or actually not challenged with, as may be our case. I'm going to kind of go through, I don't think I'll take up the whole time, but I'm going to go through the questions that Keri had laid out for us, and we'll go through some of those. It's going to be pretty simple for us. I'll first say really that as you've seen in the news, a lot of companies having problems with some of the facilities, some of the protein companies you've seen on the national news. We've been really lucky in the fishing industry. We've taken some major precautions. We've actually put up all of our employees, think about this, thousands of employees that go up in vessels up to Alaska, in plants up in Alaska. We put them in a 2-week isolation in hotel rooms for 2 weeks. Everybody from the captain down to every single employee, and they're not allowed to leave the vessels or plants, or they don't have a job. So we did that for 2 weeks and then quarantined everyone, and that's really helped not have very many cases. We haven't had to shut down any plants. One of our competitors that's not in the school arena did have some problems a few weeks ago because they didn't follow those full protocols. So I'm really happy to be a part of a company that has really come out unscathed through this. So I think I'll go through these set of questions here that Keri had laid out, because I think it'll be easiest. And the first one was about IW. Trident really doesn't do, being a seafood company, we don't do many IW items. We have looked at that. at possibly doing that, but just getting those kind of things done in this short of time has been a real challenge. And then after that, I would say it's the cost involved getting IW products. Seafood can be a little more expensive than some of the other protein items like chicken, let's say. So it's a little bit more costly. So we do not have any IW items. The only thing we really have is our new sushi line, which is actually, it is wrapped, and that's more for a la carte, which kind of can be a challenge right now in COVID, especially with schools going back and with all the unknown. Current status of product on hand. We've actually been really lucky as well. We haven't had any really much delays. I know Labatt's on the phone. We've done a great job with them. They're one of our biggest distributors. They carry almost every one of our items, and we haven't run out of product, and that's been flowing great. So Rita, thank you. And it's been really good on that. Lead times still also remain the same for us. I hate to sound too easy, but everything's been on par, and our lead times at Trident haven't changed. So order all the seafood you want. I do hope people continue to eat seafood. I know it's a challenge with putting something in a bag. That could be really hard to do with a hot seafood item, but we do hope once things get back to the new normal, that there'll be some opportunities to serve seafood. I know I've heard this from so many different calls we've been on. Not every director said the same thing, and they don't want to be serving the same items every day. And so they want to get back to cooking hot items and cooking hot lunch. And I just can't wait for that to happen. Next question was, do you expect to have orders shorted? And we do not. So again, continue on. We do have all products will be offered. So we do not have any delays. As I said, a lot of these things are same related. So everything is continue to order. And the struggles really, that we do have struggles in that, like other companies probably on this phone call, we just have, if you're not a company doing IW items or boxed items, sales are down for manufacturers. It's a challenge. We service, large restaurants like McDonald's or Burger King, and they're down as well. And but in the school, it's particularly hard, as we know, with everything going on right now, and the unknowns to start back to school. It's a real challenge. So we just hope that all we can ask is that you can continue to support us when you can, and when you're serving hot lunch, to think of your seafood needs. And it's the healthiest protein, we believe, and it's sustainable. And I think that's all we need from districts right now is continue to order our products. We have Key Impact's our broker. They do a great job for us, Callie and Lanye in the Dallas area, and we really appreciate them. And thanks for Keri for giving me just a few minutes today to talk a little bit. And I think that's it for me.
Okay, so Ryan, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Understanding that seafood companies, and I know Trident uses different types of breading. So there's potato crusted, seafood
Sure.
strips. There's the cornmeal, which is one of my favorites. So is there one of the breading types that might hold up better in a sealed situation? So if a school is going to do a sealed lunch tray or a sealed container, would there be a recommendation one over the other?
That's a fantastic question, which I'm not prepared for. But I think, just thinking off the cusp, yeah. Our Baja fish stick holds up pretty well. It's a really popular item we have in Texas. It's actually one of the most popular items we have in the country. I'd say not, it's not 10 times better than a regular breaded item. That can be an issue with breading, but the Baja does hold up pretty well. And actually the cornmeal, now that you mentioned that particular item, the cornmeal strips that we have, they do pretty well. And like I said, the only other item that we have, we just got launched, is our sushi items, but that's more for a la carte. So a lot of schools may not be doing a la carte when we come back to school.
Yes, very true. I think that's going to be hurtful to budgets for sure as we try to navigate the first couple of months of school. So I'm going to let Elizabeth, she's been typing something she wants to answer live, and I'm not sure if that is still the case. Elizabeth, I keep seeing things pop up in the Q&A. You would like to answer something live?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, those were all references to the password.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Okay. So I have not seen any real questions come in regard to anything that Ryan's been talking about. So Ryan, at this point in time, what would you say would be kind of a date range of when do you guys need to really know what the schools want? Where are you? I mean, is your warehouse overstocked with items? Have you held back in production? Kind of address that maybe?
Yeah, as soon as COVID hit, we had like probably everybody in this call, we had production meetings, it seems like daily, and going over inventory reports way more than we normally would. And so sometimes, like I said, it was a daily, at some point, a daily option of looking through, and we started slowing way down on some of our production. Although luckily for us, it was just kind of the end of Lent. Lent is for seafood like Thanksgiving is to turkey. So we were luckily just on the tail end of that. And same for all of us, we're ending toward the end of our school year here. So that helped a little bit on the timing of how COVID hit. But and typically summer's really slow for us anyway, as most manufacturers are. So we gear up typically here in the summer months for the school year, and we are lowering our forecast and production and thoughts on that. So we kind of we'll have plenty of product available and ready to go. I don't think, I mean, I would love for schools to know by July, and that, that depends when schools start back up. We have some school districts that start up the second week of July, which is hard to believe for some people. And then we have my state, I'm in Washington, up in the Seattle area, and we don't start back till the second week of September. So there's a huge gamut. But September and October typically is larger seafood months for schools, and then Lent happens to be also the largest time for seafood in schools. So yeah, if we could, know by the end of the summer, by end of July, depending where you're at in the country, that'd be great.
Okay, I appreciate that. Any last thoughts? I'm not seeing questions come through yet, so.
Nope. I just say, oh, go ahead, Elizabeth.
There is one question for Ryan. Is a new sushi product Smart Snack compliant?
That's a great question. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's Smart Snack. It's a Smart Snack entree compliant. So I get a lot of questions about that item. It is a Smart Snack entree compliant, and it's flying off the shelf. So it's good.
Well, and what's interesting is I think about schools that are struggling with that a la carte being such a key factor for their budget. And if they go to in-class room feeding or even a kiosk in the hallway, some schools have talked about taking orders as if it was a restaurant. First period of the day, each classroom gets got a menu, or they use a smart board. They check off what entree they want. That way the cafeteria knows really what are they making. But it made me think about a la carte. So why couldn't that be on the menu? Why couldn't they have an a la carte, selection, 2 or 3 items, where if those kids that were typically going to purchase a la carte could say, yes, this is what we're buying today.
That's a good point. I haven't heard that yet. That's interesting. And that's the first time I've heard someone say it like you said it. I just have heard on several patron calls and other things I've been on, schools saying, I don't know how we're going to come back and do that. So I certainly hope it's possible. Maybe it's just thinking outside of the box a little more.
I think so. And I think, schools have to get away from, well, my a la carte is, this huge long line and kids can grab all kinds of products. Well, as we know, lunches are going to be more downsized. A lot of schools are getting away from offer versus serve to just serve. This is what you're getting today. And so maybe that a la carte selection is minimized as well, but still a selection. I think it can still be pulled off. I think we have to think so creatively during this time. And we all hope it's going to be a short-term temporary,
And I keep one more thing I think I'll say is, I keep thinking to myself, when I start to feel sorry for myself or what's going on with me, I think of all the directors and hardworking employees out there that we know it's a super hard time right now, and it's probably a lot of people say it's the craziest it's ever been in their whole career. And so we're with you, and we know you'll come back to us when you can. So we're here for you, and we appreciate you guys.
Yes, and thank you. All right, so that pretty much took the 11 minutes. Good job, Ryan.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so next up is Maria with Alpha Foods. And Maria, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Hello to everyone out there. I would like to extend a big Texas thank you to each of our child nutrition frontline workers who've been feeding our students and children all through this pandemic. Alpha Foods is a Texas-based pizza manufacturer that's actually owned and managed by my family. And we're very committed to our Texas school districts, and we are counting on their support of our products, our ingenuity, and our family company. So Alpha Foods is geared up, and we're ready to promptly be able to manufacture the pizzas that you may need, either for direct to district or to our distributor partners. We have a variety of bulk pack pizzas that are available, many of which are currently being served, such as our Alpha Supreme or Simply Delicious 16-inch pizzas. We also have a variety of personal pizzas, and also those pizzas with the windowed serving box, which are very handy, especially during this time. We are also introducing a line of some of our IW pizzas, which I'll touch on briefly today. So in compared to bulk pizzas, the IW pizzas are more costly, as you know. They're not as abundantly available, and the flavor and profile to me on a bulk pack pizza is much fresher, and the appearance is greater. So bulk pizzas also do lend to a familiarity and stability in our child nutrition kitchens. The staff is already used to handling these, which is very helpful in these turbulent times. There's also already product temperature and handling established procedures there in each child nutrition department. We have recipes, menus, and validated nutritionals for the Alpha pizzas. So these are handy tools at this time. Also, keep in mind that all of the Alpha pizzas are, that are bulk packed already work within our school district kitchens with their product flow and their process flow, their equipment, and their storage limitations. So these are things to keep in mind when serving the Alpha pizzas in the bulk pack. So we understand as a bulk pizza manufacturer that when COVID hit, everyone was really reaching for quick items, grab and go, shelf stable. So those, for many manufacturers, were not readily available. However, Alpha, during this COVID-19 crisis, we have invested in and implemented some automated IW packaging equipment. So just to touch on that briefly, we do offer now a couple of items that are IW, which are our personal whole grain pizzas, and these are available in either cheese or pepperoni as IW in the bakeable film, and also on a 16-inch overwrapped, individually wrapped pizza. This is on a serving board. So this works out really, really great for a lot of our schools for the rest of the summer. When they're feeding the multiple meals and they're handing out a frozen product, well, this could be another item that they can offer as a 16-inch, and it has the baking instructions on the pizza. So they're overwrapped. You can have like a Pizza Friday night. So we've implemented these, and actually these products are already on our current school year 20 SCPDS, and also for the school year 21 SCPDS. They're there for you.
Okay, Maria, I had a quick question. So
Yes.
as I've heard from not only just you in regard to some of the production issues or slower production times when you go to, you know, bulk to IW, can you address that, how that maybe has affected Alpha Foods and that production level?
Absolutely. The production level is very minimal compared to what we can output on our bulk production. You're looking at a fifth the volume, just because even though these packaging equipments are automated, they're much, much slower. There's a lot of hand application that's involved. So it would be on a very, very limited basis that we would be able to offer the IW on the individual pizzas. So our big focus is on the bulk packed products, and we have obviously a bigger variety to offer on bulk pack, and we can address and accommodate many, many more districts on the bulk pack pizzas. Another thing to keep in mind is that our bulk pack pizzas are already stocked at distribution, and therefore we don't have to go in and establish new SKUs for those.
Right. So, now, have you looked into, and I think that, you know, with your packaging, about just including, say, the box along with the bulk pack pizzas to assist districts? And is that a thought at Alpha Foods? And if so, are you finding that you're concerned about getting them just the materials for the packaging anyway?
So the packaging materials that are in much, much shorter supply, it's the bakeable film. The film that's the overwrap to put on the IW products. So to address your question on the packaging, No, we have a large abundance of a lot of our packaging because when COVID hit, orders, millions of dollars of orders and POs were immediately stopped. So we were, of course, very stocked up on a lot of that. So as far as inventory, we have what we need. We've already placed orders ahead of time in anticipation that there may be a slower volume of incoming inventory. So we're geared up and ready. And also I have the example of our small little Sgt. Pepperoni's window box. So these are readily available. These are also already packaged in our pizzas. So basically you would just take your bulk pack pizza, the boxes come on top of the pizza, they're heat and serve, place the pizza in the box. You can even, on some of them, fit your meal components, close it, you have your tight lid, it locks, these stack up well, they have the viewing window, so they're great for food safety and they hold up great for transporting from the cafeteria, whether it's in a cart or else for the students to carry. So those are also currently stocked at the majority of the distributors as the standalone boxes. So I do want to point that out. Those also will hold a slice from a 16-inch pizza, not only a personal pizza such as the pizzas that are packed with the boxes in the case. So we do have some options and these are ready. All we need is the purchase orders. That's where we are right now. We do have substantial inventory. Keep in mind that we're being a regional manufacturer. We're very able to support our local regional schools, Texas and the states that we are selling in. There are many, many other manufacturers who have a larger national footprint. So it is hard to attain the supply for the demand that they're needing, regardless of the type of food that they're in. Another thing I want to point out is during COVID, in anticipation of new demand and increased volumes on all sorts of our products, we have purchased and implemented an additional automated pizza production line in our USDA plant. So now this is running parallel to the other lines that we already have here in Waller. So we're able to accommodate, especially if others are not. We're here for our Texas schools and the other markets that we're in. So as far as the lead times, we have typically a 21-day lead time. However, now we're urging that our school districts, our direct-to-district warehouse deliveries, and our distributor partners, that they please submit their orders by the 22nd of June. And that's only 2 weeks away. I know that sounds really soon. However, that will leave us less than 8 weeks before the typical start of the school year. And there are going to be changes, but we're anticipating that as our communication continues with one another, please send us forecasts, please send us your volumes. I've received that from several of the co-ops. There are many that I haven't heard from direct district deliveries and other co-ops. So we're urging y'all to please send those on to us along with your POs. We don't anticipate to short any products. And I want to clarify that on any of the products that were originally offered, our bulk pizzas, our 16-inch pizzas, the Simply Delicious, the Alpha Supreme, or our garlic butter baked to rise, our personal pizzas, or the ones with the window pizza box. We will not short our POs. Pizza is what we do, and this is what we manufacture. So we're not going to be shorting, but we do need those orders within the next couple of weeks in order to ensure that everything is there for the start of the school year and for continuing through the school year 21. So also keep in mind that we ask for the districts to use the products that are already familiar to our staff in the kitchens. They don't need any more changes, in my opinion, as considering everything they've already gone through. Our distributor partners have inventory. These are already on your order guides. If we just keep it easy, order those products, it'll help also on drawdown for commodities, and like I mentioned earlier, eliminate having to add more SKUs to an already packed distributor warehouse. So we are hopeful that our school districts, child nutrition directors will continue to serve and purchase the Alpha pizzas that have been so successful to offer a comfort to the kids. This is a comfort food, a delicious pizza that they love. It's a wholesome product. It's very warm, and we all know they're missing out on lots of good hot foods right now. So it's very simple just to take a slice of Alpha 16-inch pizza, place it in a hinge to go container, place it in a food container with a lid, put it in the Sgt. Pepperoni boxes as we spoke about, or even wedge pizza boxes, pair that with a salad or their meal component and distribute that with a drink. So there are very many easy ways to pre-plate the delicious alpha pizzas and continue to offer proven products for our schools and our children throughout the country. And we trust that our child nutrition directors will align themselves with local trusted brands such as the Alpha Pizza, and just so thankful for all of the service that the food service workers have performed these last few months. They are our true heroes, most definitely. And thank you so much for your support of Alpha Pizza. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And I wanted to really kind of talk to what you just said. And I know I'm seeing a couple of questions come through that Elizabeth will want to address as well. But one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is real-time data. And that is, you know, what do the manufacturers have stocked up in their warehouse? Because when COVID hit, schools stopped buying that bulk packed food. And now you're sitting on a stockpile of this bulk packed food. And, you know, we're going to hear from Labatt here in a little while as well. They've got stocked food because schools stopped purchasing. I think just most of us co-op coordinators are encouraging our districts, simplify your menus. Let's find ways to work with those bulk packed foods, because we know the reality is not everyone's going to get the IW, you know, whatever it is. That's just not going to happen. So I appreciate you speaking to that as well on the production level. Okay, Elizabeth, I'm going to let you share some questions that maybe came through.
Yes, Maria, we have several questions for you. One was after you held up the sample box that you had. The question is, are the boxes built or do they come flat?
So the boxes do come flat. They come flat just like this on the top of the case of pizza. So your pizzas will be stacked with 60, and they're the par-baked crust, bacon served pizzas, heat and serve. So you have your stack of boxes. Once the pizzas are baked, take them off of the sheet pan, put your pizza right in the box. You can also put like your carrots, you can put your marinara cup, you can fold it closed, lock it, they're ready to go. Now, I mentioned that the boxes also are as a standalone, stocked at our distributors. And those are 250 of the boxes, and those are flat boxes. So those just come flat, and you can put your slice of pizza in here as a angled, along with that veggie, and you're set. It holds all sorts of sizes of pizza. We just ask that they're the alpha pizzas that you put in the boxes.
Okay, another one about boxes. What about boxes for the smaller bulk individual pizzas? That may have been what you just referred to.
Yes, so in order to also assist at the school level and at our distributor level, it's one box for all. One box for the small pizza, one for the 6 or 6.5 inch personal, and the same box holds a slice, a 1/8 cut or a 10th cut of the 16-inch pizza. So it's very versatile.
Okay, do any of your pizzas yield a vegetable component? And if yes, 1/4 or 1/2 cup?
Okay, so the answer is yes, and all of them yield 1/8 cup. So you would need to add, like I mentioned, the marinara cup for additional red orange, for example, or a pack of crispy carrots, a salad, along with this.
Okay.
Okay.
Boxes. Are the boxes available at Labatt? And if so, can you get the Labatt item number for the boxes?
Elizabeth, I'm going to cut you off with that question. So that would be a question the district needs to ask directly to their co-op coordinator. And if that co-op coordinator had the ability to add it to the bid, that's what they would do. So, because I know some of the attendees are not with Labatt, and they're with some other distributors across the state. So I want to kind of keep it more generic with that.
Okay.
If that's okay. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any
Yes.
more questions on that?
I think that's it.
Okay. So next up, I've got Frank and James with Cool Tropics. And thank you, Maria, for your time and presentation. All right, Frank and James, I'll let you take it away. And these are our two cowboys this morning, so welcome.
Thank you very much, Keri, and howdy, cool customers. As we embark on the 2021 school year, we're hearing the need for a couple of things. Individually wrapped products, products that are easy for staff to use, and vegetable components, especially things other than carrots. You know, something to change up the vegetable option. So in a moment, we're going to talk about, we're going to focus on two things. One, what you can expect from Cool Tropics in the fall, and two, how can schools help directly, not just us, Cool Tropics as a vendor, but all of our vendor partners, including our distributor partners, Labatt and Cisco, and the others on the call. But first, I want to pass it to my other cowboy amigo here, Frank, for a special word.
Thank you, James. Howdy, cool friends, Texas friends. First of all, we miss you. Especially now, there's going to be no TASN, no ANC. So this is as close as we're going to get, and we do miss you. And you know who you are, our friends in Texas. And second and most important, thank you and your team for all you are doing on behalf of those kiddos most in need. We have never been more prouder to be part of the School Nutrition Association than now, thanks to you. So, and before I turn it back to James, I'll be remiss not to really thank Keri for putting this together, because we've all attended a lot of webinars, and we know in March and April what we couldn't do. We know in May and June, or really in May, some of the things that a lot of people have a lot of questions on, but this is the first really leadership around the country. And Keri was the first, as far as I know, and we know, to go ahead and take that step. So thank you, Keri, for doing that. And with that, I'll turn it back to James.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Frank, and thank you again, Keri. So for this fall with Cool Tropics, we're looking forward to a few things. Number one is Go Texan. Starting in September, all of our products will be Go Texan. Our fruit slush, veggie slush, Welch's, some other new things we're going to talk about. But across the line, we will be Go Texan. And we're very excited for that. Not just because we have all of our Texas gear, but because we do truly love our partnership with Texas customers. Number two, if you're looking for a cool fruit option, we've really ramped up our production of our already IW fruit options. So what we would ask, what will really help us and what can really help our distributor partners as well, is if there's any flexibility on those flavors, as long as they meet the same component, to really work within those flexibilities. For example, if our kiwi strawberry counts as a fruit, the same as cherry lime counts as a fruit, all the same components, there may be additional of one flavor or another in stock. And if it's okay with schools, we'd like to have that flexibility to swap out. Also, if we can focus on flavors, so if you know what you're going to use, to really do our best to forecast not just the use of the item, but which items. So that gives us the ability to work with our distributors and keep that production moving, keep that production, most importantly, on time to you, our schools. These are things that, as we're looking into the new school year, we're really trying to focus on all the possibilities. Something that'll work in the classroom, something that'll work in the hallway, if that's still a feeding option, something that we could use at home. You can send it home frozen, eat on the way, send it home shelf stable, freeze it at home, something you can use in the classroom, in the playground, wherever you could use it. So we're really trying to think of how we can be a one-size-fits-all solution for a no one-size-fits-all challenge, if you know what I mean. So from the schools, anything that we can do to feed the different alternate feeding styles, let us know how we can help, and we can work that into our solution.
So James, I'm gonna interrupt you right here. I've got a quick question, because
Sure.
You guys do juice, and we all know that the bulk of juice concentrate that comes into our country is non-domestic. That's pretty common. Are you seeing any struggles in producing some of your products because of that, due to maybe imports not happening or limited stuff coming in from other countries? If you can speak to that.
I'll take that, James. So soon, and we don't want to let this great news out yet, we have partnered with many local. So I'm going to leave it at that, because that's a teaser. I want to spill the beans right now. So, we are big partners of Welch's. We have a lot of juices afforded to us here in the United States. So all those options we've looked into. We've been around 27 years. So we've been through good times and bad times. We know how to handle the bad times. Made us a better company. So we're on top of this, but I'm going to park that answer. I'm not going to avoid the answer. I'm going to park the answer till when we are ready to talk about that, because there's some really great news we want to share with Texas that is strictly Texas focused. If that's okay, Keri.
I'll accept that now.
All right, for now. Back to James. That's right. Thank you.
Well, so Keri, it does actually tie in really closely with another point, talking about our vegetable slush. When things start to really ramp up and schools were looking for an alternate to carrot sticks and to provide some variety in veggie, we had customers switch from once a month to once a week use of our Tropical Trio veggie slush. And that presented a big challenge for us in a production capacity. So we did actually bring in extra materials and some of the extra raw goods to be ready for that increased demand. From our school partners, to help our distributor partners, if there are schools that are thinking about either bringing on our veggie slush or any of our fruit slush for the first time, or increasing from once a month to once a week or twice a week or whatever, give us a little bit of a heads up. Right now, our lead times remain the same, but any changes to that, it'll be really helpful to have as much heads up as you can give. And to schools, we understand that it's changing daily, weekly, but whatever you can share with us, we will be much obliged.
Okay, James, what is your lead time?
Our lead time right now, we ask for at least 2 weeks, and that gives us time into distribution. So 2 weeks from the distributor, so another 2 weeks. So don't quote me, but I'll say a month. Frank, would you say plus or minus?
Labatt has been a partner, true partner, not just in the word, just throwing the word around. They've been true partner for many, many years. We worked very well together. They were one of the first distributors we called to say, are you stuck with any flavor? We're happy to help you move it. This is when March and April happened. And not only they're not stuck, thank God, they're ordering more products. So normal lead time into Labatt is 2 weeks. They do a terrific job to accommodate whatever the need of the schools are. Really what's key is this. Would you believe if we tell you that our vegetable product, since the beginning of this middle of March, the school shutdown, became our #1 selling product over Welch's, over Cool Tropics. And because of that, we had many schools go from serving the vegetable options once a month or twice a month to once a week. So we've literally had to scramble in a good way, not a bad way, to fly in, or rather bring in the juices, the pouch for the vegetable servings and everything else. So all we ask, if you need help, we know no one knows out there where the kids are going to eat and how they're going to eat. So we know that. It's okay. That's okay. We can help you. If you don't even know what the ADP is going to be, that's okay too. But if you're interested in the vegetable product, especially the vegetable product as an example, please let us know your enrollment. We've been around 27 years. We can give it a minimum range and a maximum range of what to consider. And what's really key is we forecast that we're going to use this product once a week or once every other week or once a month. This is not written in stone. If you say, hey, I'm going to use this product once a week and you're not using it, that's okay. We'd rather have more product ready for you than less. This is not, next spring where you're ready to go into your summer feeding and you're ready to, lower your inventory levels. This is main stage now. This is showtime. So we want to be ready. We'd rather have more product for you than less. So if you just say, hey, guys, I don't know what my ADP is going to be, but here's my enrollment, and here's I'm gonna plan on using your vegetable product once a week. Great. We'll do the math from there. We'll take care of it from there. And after this call, sometime today or tomorrow, Keri will send you a one-page survey, if you will, of anything that you heard today that you're interested in. Let us know. She'll also attach James's contact information and our Cool Brokers affinity group as well. She'll have that. That'll be part of the email that will be forwarded to you as well. So just those little communications. I'm planning on using this once a month, once a week, twice a week, every other week, whatever that is. That means something to us. And so Keri, I know that's a long answer to what does that mean, the lead time, but Labatt is great on that. They're really terrific with that. Not just in Texas, they're some of the best in the country of doing that. We work very well with them. So information is power, and with that, I'm going to turn it back to James. James, is it my turn to talk about this secret thing that I parked?
Okay, before you get started on another secret thing,
I'm ready for my horses. I'm ready for the horses to start running.
So I know that your company, you've got pouch juice, you've got these vegetable juices, and I'm seeing some questions pop up about that we'll ask later. But are you seeing any lag time or inability to get some of that material? Because a lot of that material, like foil pouches, just plastics, any struggles with some of those types of things that would allow you to produce your product?
Not really. We're staying on top of it. We have like 5-6 months worth of supplies on purpose. We even taken it as an example because of the vegetable. It's just became our #1 product. We said, what did we do last year for August, September, October in vegetable? Don't double or triple it. We're adding 10x to it. Like we're gonna multiply whatever we did by 10 times, so we don't run out of product for you. So And whatever you communicate with us, we will not hold you to it. This is not an official bid that's written in stone, but any communication, whether you decide to do it or not in the future, we'll take it because that will help us help you. All right, Keri, should we move on?
Go ahead. You may move on.
All right, thank you. So in addition to the vegetables and the new flavor for vegetables, so today is available to you is the Tropical Trio. We have a brand new flavor being for vegetables to be available this September. That's very, very blue. Very, very blue. So that'll be the information you get as well. What's really cool for us, as far as we know, this is the first ever Farm to School Texas. We have partnered with your farmers down in the valley to bring Texas orange juice, Texas ruby red grapefruit juice to be in a gusset juice pouch, not a slush, a juice pouch. Again, Keri will send you a flyer on that. Wait until you see it. The top of the pouch where you rip our pouches open today for those customers and friends that are familiar with our product is a cowboy hat design. It's a cowboy hat design. So you can rip the cowboy hat and drink out of it. We're really leaning towards starting that with no straw. We're leaning to see if we can avoid straws altogether because we know a lot of schools don't want to use straws, but we want you to know that if you do want straws, this packaging is flexible. So we're intending on rolling this out in September, not July or August, September. Go Texan as well, and the Texas farmers with cool flavors. So you heard oranges and ruby red. That's not going to be the flavors. We flavored it with some delicious flavors that the kiddos love, like mango and passion fruit and guava and those kind of things, and pineapple. So you'll get a flyer on that. We're aiming at 4 flavors out of the gate. Again, shelf stable, long shelf life, 1-year shelf life, and this is going to be either refrigerated or shelf stable. That's okay too. And this is really near and dear to our heart because we started this farm to school program in New York with Welch's because Concord grape is grown in New York, many other states, but we are purchasing New York. And then many of our school customers, like my good friend Darren from Cypress Fairbanks and Dana from Aldine, who I love, and they said, man, why aren't you just doing it here for us in Texas? Why aren't you doing farm to school here for us in Texas? So, and I think Darren said that to me enough where I felt like he's not physically, but almost hitting me on top of the head here, like, hey man, we need you to do this here. So we said, might as well do it. It's really a pleasure when you start touring those farms and you see the farmers, head to head. So to summarize everything, number 1, we're Go Texan approved. Starting this September, everything we ship is Go Texan approved. We're very proud of that. Number 2, if you're looking for cool fruit options, our cool Tropics and Welch's, plenty of those flavors ready to go. Our Hula Cooler is our #1 selling Welch's flavor. It's what kids really, really want. We've had this out for a whole year now. Passion fruit is a big seller right now, even in Texas hotels where we stayed in Texas. For breakfast, when we have breakfast at the hotel, they're serving the orange juice, the apple juice, and believe it or not, instead of cranberry juice, they're serving, the passion fruit orange guava, which is what Hula Cooler is. Vegetable is really where main stage is. That's showtime is vegetable for us right now. We're finding more and more people saying, hey, what if we did once a week a cool vegetable, something fun? So what if you did a tropical Tuesday or a way cool Wednesday or even a frozen fruit Friday? A frozen
there
fruit
you go.
Friday. Then kids have something to look forward to, right? Every Friday is Frozen Fruit Friday or Tropical Tuesday. No different than Taco Tuesday or whatever that is, right? And then
very nice.
Thank you. And number 4 and last is the Texas Farm to School. Wait until you see the packaging. That flyer should go out to you, if not today, tomorrow, via Keri. Keri,
thank you, Frank
so
and
much.
James. I appreciate that. And that is exciting news. And of course, Texas is the best and biggest state. So of course, we need to have that connection with our farmers. And appreciate companies like yours making that connection. Okay, so I think I did see some questions coming in for Cool Tropics, Elizabeth, maybe?
Yes, so the first one was a little bit earlier. It says, what is the vegetable option that you have mentioned? And sorry if they missed that part.
No apology needed. I'm glad you asked that question. So the first option that's available today is Tropical Trio. And it
Frank,
there.
I think they're asking about the subgroups. Is it meeting a red orange? Is it?
It's not a red orange. It's an additional vegetable.
Additional vegetable. Okay.
Additional vegetable.
Okay. I hope
and the
that
very, very blue will be an additional vegetable. We are testing right now one flavor that would be a red orange.
Okay.
We will not launch it if it doesn't taste great. We don't want to be a one-hit wonder.
Okay. Was that correct, Elizabeth?
So there were 2 questions very similar. I'm assuming that you might want to take a look at it, Keri, just to make sure One was from Tiona Flowers and one from Kelly Thayer.
Right. So, and also what is it, a fourth cup, half cup contribution? What does the vegetable mean?
James?
Vegetable meat's a half cup additional vegetable contribution.
Okay.
So
I
one
think that
veggie
kind of covers
serving.
it. Okay. Thank you. All right, Elizabeth, any other questions that came in?
Yes, one more. What sizes are the juice pouches? 4 ounce, 6 ounce?
The juice pouches it's a 4-ounce pouch. So this is our slush 4-ounce pouch. And the juice, the farm to school juice, will be 4 ounce as well. So a half a serving of fruit. Tropical Trio is a half a serving of veggie.
Okay,
We did,
great.
just to add to that real quick, if I may, we did park to the next semester, the 6-ounce packaging. We have a lot of schools around the country, not just in Texas, asking for 6 ounces. But with everything going on, with the soft launch of how schools still don't know what they want to do, they want to open up with what they currently had last year and add, hopefully, from all these wonderful people, Maria and the pizza in Texas. I love companies who are family owned. So hopefully you'll go Texan too. If not, we'll talk about it, you and I offline. You should be. So I'm a big Go Texan fan. So we'll talk about that, Maria. Great job.
All right.
And so thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, so next up, I've got Winnie Chang, who is also one of our cowgirls. I'm feeling bad that I didn't wear a hat today. My goodness. With Chef's Corner, and Winnie, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, you guys. Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited to see you guys because I'm here in San Francisco, California by myself. But you know what's really cool is my cousin loved Texas so much because you guys know we're local Texas too, right? My cousin moved to Texas years ago just to be so much more committed to Texas. So you guys took my cousin away from California, but that's okay because we make our food in Texas, in Dallas actually. So that's really fun. Okay, so with all your questions, Keri, I love, and thank you again for putting this together because I know a lot of people have questions and they're trying to find answers, and for all of us to get together and have these talks, this is how we formulate all the things that we need to do, and all the heroes every day. I've been filming my documentary and my Lunch Ladies and Lads Across America, and because I'm trying to capture the stories of what they're doing every day, it's amazing. So I'll give you guys info about that later if you want. Okay, so questions. I'm gonna follow like Ryan. So we have no issues. We're so lucky. Like everybody said, when COVID started, a lot of orders got canceled, like big orders, and so we have an influx of inventory right now sitting on our Dallas, Texas area, and so if anybody needs it right now, it's available. And you know what's really cool is that my McCain Marketing, there are amazing brokers, and you know Miss Meredith started years ago, right? And a lot of you guys know her, and so her team, they said that I think there's about 21,000 pounds sitting in the state account right now in Texas, and that's like basically free, food, free money. It's the dark chicken leg that we make. So if you guys don't know my family, Chef's Corner, my cousin started this about 10 years ago, and he wanted to make the healthier version of what the kids eat at the mall. So it's basically like your orange chicken, teriyaki chicken, chicken negros, fried rice. His dad, my uncle, is the one that makes all the noodles and rice, but he's been doing it for like 41 years now. He's not moving from California, so sorry, you guys, don't take it. But he loves Texas and he loves feeding kids. And then so, like, if you see anything that's like grains and any grains, that's his stuff. Okay, so that's like the gist of my family. Now, Winnie Reed, there's 2 Winnies at Chef's Corner. I want you guys to know. So I'm Winnie Chang, the cousin, the family member, and Winnie Reed, she's the one that does our production. And so she said that, she has a big production for July to rev up for school, and everything's like just normal, regular. And she is excited to like get those POs or forecasting, like everyone is saying. That really helps our family business to get forecasts. And people are worried about shortages, right, Keri? Like the start of the school year. And so Winnie's like, nope, if they can let us have their forecast or their ideas, she can punch it out and include it into our production that is already coming out. And so she don't expect any shortages. She don't expect any delays. Our like lead time is still about 3 to 4 weeks. So that's good for a lot of people. But she always says, if the more you can give her like a notice, she can really get it ready and store it away. And then when you guys order, boom, it's there. Okay, let's see, the next one, current on hand. Yes, we do have a lot of stuff are at my lovely Labatt. Hi, Rita. Like, thank you guys so much for helping my family distribute all over Texas. So I have a list of all the things that they have currently that a lot of the schools couldn't basically use because of the shutdowns and like things that happen with COVID. So if you need that info, I could definitely let you guys know what is available right now. And then, so, you know what, as I'm on that, let me touch on this. What would really help our family, like, you know, my cousin made 13 different sauces, right? And like, he said it's best when a distributor have, like, say 8 different ones already, trying to order those particular flavors, it really helps, you know, get all the shipping into Labatt, and then Labatt can distribute all over Texas. And instead of ordering in like a off flavor, and that's the thing that catches us, where it might be delayed if it's like a funny flavor that we don't sell that much, is not a popular flavor. So if we can concentrate on what is very popular and just order from there, that really helps us. Okay. Okay. Let's see.
And
Okay.
Whitney, I think that when I
Yeah.
talked about trying to get real-time data and, you know, maybe survey some of you guys as to
Yeah.
what is better for you to focus on in the way of certain
Yes.
products, just like you were mentioning with the sauces.
Perfect.
You know, if it's something out here that's not commonly used, that's going to be a little tougher for you to produce maybe during this time.
Exactly.
And so that's
Exactly.
really what, you know, I think
Smart.
we all need to hear about from everyone.
Yeah, real stuff. It's like, you know, sometimes not everybody can see how production works. There's like, you know, getting the materials, right? And then getting like they're in line to be produced, but there's other things being produced as well. And so that's why everyone's got to get in line, and sometimes a lot of schools just jump on board and they think, you know, they can just order like that, but they didn't even get in line yet for their order. So trying to balance the inventory level, because no one in the world can like hold a bazillion cases of every flavor. And everybody, I know you know this, but it's real. And I've seen this for the past 4 years I've been with my family business. This is something I haven't figured out yet. Like, I don't have a magic 8-ball, and we're always struggling to find out how can we, you know, have enough for everybody and then some. But then where do we store it? Everybody has storage issues, and you know, we don't want to put the burden on our distributors for their freezer space, because they have to keep moving it. You keep moving in, out, in, out, in, out. And same thing for all of us. And you know, schools don't have that storage space. So that's why that planning and having contingency plans, that stuff is that's the key. But we're always working, finding ways to make it better. And I know this. I talk to so many of my director friends, and man, they're just like at night, you know, thinking of ways of how to not like have extra inventory and this and that. And I always teach them deep breathing breaks. Very important right now. Deep breathing breaks, right, Keri? Okay, so let me see. Let's see, inventory, and then.
Well, and I think, you know,
Mhm.
for a lot of them, you know, figuring out how they're going to use what they have just as much as how is everyone going
Yeah.
to use what all of you have stocked and ready to go out the door to the Labatts and Cisco's and Gordon's, whoever else is out there. So I think that's just part of this whole, you know, situation of trying to land on a good decision of what's going to work, what's available.
Yeah, I know. And it's like a rolling dice with kids, right? Because they're just like, no, I don't want to eat this. And then it's like all of a sudden you change, and then so you're not seeing them order that particular food. You know, that just reminded me when you guys were talking about like, you know, thinking outside of the box, and how there was that online ordering system almost you were talking about, Keri. In Taiwan, like my family's there, right? And they told me that in Taiwan, they every morning have a iPad or something. all the kids actually place the order for the day. That's how they get it, and no excess, this, and oh my goodness. That, I think, is the new wave. And if you guys know, Taiwan have not had any cases for so long. They've only had 400 something cases of COVID in their tiny little 24 million people island, and they shut it down so fast. And out of the 400, was like 200 people were just business people. The rest were like Taiwanese people, and they're doing something. I think we should, take a look at. Okay. Let's see. So we don't expect any shorting of any kind. And so we have, like, of course, commodity calculators that help to calculate things that you need. And then there's the original offered. Oh, yeah. Oh, so this is what's really exciting. So because of COVID, my cousin always wanted to produce IWIs, right? But he hasn't for all this time. And so finally, we are excited to announce that we're hopefully end of this month, cross your fingers, we'll be having our teriyaki bowls with brown rice. 2 meat, 1 grain, and an orange chicken bowl with brown rice, 2 meat, 1 grain, and our famous chicken egg rolls that, Northside ISD helped us develop, Miss Cindy Barton. She and my cousin worked on it for half a year before she retired, and that is like the killer. Everybody loves our chicken egg rolls because it's 1 meat, 1 grain, and it's Smart Snack. So our family only have one Smart Snack product, and that's the one, the chicken egg roll.
So
okay.
Winnie, if your company does go to producing some of these IW or portion pack, meals, what effect is that going to have on your production level? I mean, that's a bunch of new equipment you're talking about. As we heard from Maria Bowen with Labatt Foods, there
Right.
is an effect that's going to occur.
It's a
What
different
are you
facility.
anticipating?
It's a different facility, so it's totally different. So yeah, we have our like battered chicken in like Grapevine, Dallas, and then the new IWIs is it near San Antonio? I forgot which part of Texas, but it's like right there. So it's a different facility. So they have all their stuff. Like we're getting like those black bowls and the film, so they can bake it like ovenable. So it's easy. But we all know that it's gonna cost. Like, so my cousin was saying they're trying to keep it like under $2 a bowl. And that's as far as they can go right now. They want to go lower, but they can't. And so they're still trying to fiddle around with the pricing and finding ways to find if there are bowls that's less expensive, or where can we go with that. So we're still working on that. So that's why you cross your fingers. Hopefully end of the month, this month, we'll have it done. And then, so I would love to know what all the directors and all the food staff think. Like, what is that price point that works with your district? That really helps us. And so we're still, the wheels are still turning. It's a work in progress, you guys. And our family always appreciates so much for your patience and your love and your kindness for us, because we're just like that little engine that could, for 10 years now, still going strong. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you commented on that, and your time is almost close here, because we are hearing from a lot of our districts with their concerns about the price point of IW products or portion, and some have just flat out said we can't afford it.
Yep.
And if you look at how many school districts are stepping out of this situation in the red, and they are not allowed to really function in the reds, they have to make it right. So I think that is a very big concern with reopening and trying to switch over to some of these products, is that can they afford it really,
Yeah.
So it is a concern.
I've seen schools still use our bulk items, and they said that they're going to individually, like still do it and put it on their trays. So they're ordering their trays, that's like all the disposable stuff, or like the reusable trays, but they're finding ways, the protocol. And California just came out with like a whole guideline. It was like how many, like 60 pages, and I can share that with everybody if they need it, because it is, California, we're wild, we're crazy, but a lot of states follow, when they see what we're doing, they do. So It's not an ego thing. It's just that, you know, we have a lot of kids here like that depend on what we do. But you know, something to touch on, I want you guys to know, our family started carrying PPEs. So my cousin said we wanted to be a part of the cure. So that means we got to find ways to protect our employees. So meaning they know me and my lunch ladies and lads, we're like crazy tight, right? And so I said, Graham, what would we do? So he actually hooked up with a few of his manufacturer friends, and we started selling masks and hand sanitizers, and we have like the medical grade stuff for my hospital friends. And so we see the wave that's coming for everyone's going to have mandatory like disposable masks, because the cloth stuff, if you look at the statistics, it's who's really going to wash it every day, and that's the tough part to find out, and how it holds more stuff on it versus like the disposable like medical masks. And so you got to look at the statistics, you guys. So we're bringing in millions. So right now we have like, I think a mill of new masks that just came into Dallas, Texas. But those go so fast. I don't even want to scare you how fast, because we have other people like manufacturers like try and buy from us. And so because they're not a part of that supply chain. And so we buy from the white listed companies. I want you guys to Google that, because those companies, well, I mean, if you guys understand that, right? White listed companies, they're like this company, they produce only medical masks, and they actually provide for hospitals and medical teams. So that is a very special thing.
True.
So
okay, Winnie. Yeah, I'm going to
sorry.
have to cut you off just so we can get on the next presenter. I know. Yeah,
I talk too much.
So sorry. So Elizabeth, I don't know if you're seeing any questions come through for Winnie at this time. Okay.
None at this time.
And I do know there are concerns about, you know, the gloves, the latex gloves. I have even heard that from my distributor, there might be a shortage in gloves. I'm also hearing that one of our, you know, our Texas education agency may have just made a big purchase of some masks and gloves. So I think there's some good things happening in the state for directors and maybe what's forthcoming, but that is a concern. You know, I am also heard from a district this morning who asked if they should put the plexiglass sheets down the tables if they're going to serve in the cafeteria, so the kids could sit across from each other. So I think there are a lot of different things being entertained out there in regard to safety when they start to reopen and possibly serve in the cafeteria, even if it's, you know, limited number of kids.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you, Winnie. I appreciate your time. All right. So next up is Meredith Edwards with Dole Food Service. Hi, Meredith. Thanks for joining us today.
Great.
And go ahead and take it away.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, great. Well, just going through your answer or your questions that you had, I really try to create just some solution-based responses. So just right off the bat, our fruit bowl inventory, due to the spike in demand and then also just thousands of cases of donations that we've been giving across the country, we are currently, as of today, out of stock on fruit bowls, and that's through July. But the good news is that we have a shipment coming in July, the end of it, and that should set us up for success for the school year. Also, we've forecasted based on bids from last year, and then we've gone ahead and forecasted an additional 100,000 fruit bowls dedicated to K-12. So we will be stocked and ready come August, September. So that's the good news. Lead times remain consistent across our portfolio, both on our frozen and dry. And then just some current solutions in response to the IW demand. We have, and I know I provided a complete list to you, Keri, that you can email out of all available products that are stocked as far as frozen and our dry, but really just to give some examples of those solutions. So on the frozen, our blenderless smoothies really took off last year, and that's another great solution. It's something you can make in bulk, cup and lid them. They can last, 2 to 3 days, whether you're making them, before you serve. And maybe, again, I took some notes about if you're doing some kiosks or ordering ahead in the morning, you could pull from that inventory. So those hold up really well. No sugar added on those purees that we have. And it's just 3 parts frozen or puree, juice and yogurt, and you mix those 3 ingredients together. Also, sorry, I've got some notes here too. All of our chef ready cut fruit So that's in resealable bags that are already diced and sliced. And so again, kind of our Dole proposition across our frozen items, not only are those bags resealable, there's no washing necessary. They're already pre-washed, ready to go. That reduces labor. They're ready when you need it, and it's so easy to portion out. And so across our frozen, and I have this again on what I emailed over, but each frozen case serves 40 half-cup servings of fruit. And then on our 106 ounce cans, there's 26.5 half-cup fruit servings on that. So you can portion out those, and some solutions we've seen on across that. And again, all of our number 10 cans that are in juice have been a great solution. So that's our pineapple tidbits in juice, our pineapple, crushed pineapple in juice, and of course, mandarins in juice. But we've got our smoothie bowls. So that's whether you allow the kids to you've portioned it out, whether it's in a cup or in kind of a little tray application, and the kids can mix those up together. That's another solution. Or what we call our build your own pizza, kind of like your pizza kits. So if within a tray, you already have the pepperoni and cheese and sauce, and using our pineapple tidbits as a topping. And
so Meredith, I want to circle back to you talking about the sealable bags that are, I guess, portion ready. Now, is that something that's coming in the case of product, or is that a completely separate product that schools could order? How does that work?
Yeah, so in one case, it's 2 5-pound bags. So if, and I have the specs that I can send out too. So a lot of schools are already using, say, our whole fruit, like strawberries or blackberries or blueberries. So it's just in one case, that's 10 pounds. It's 2 5-pound resealable bags.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was portion control bags. I don't know why I heard that differently.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Well, I guess
a bulk bag versus
portion out. Yeah.
Okay.
We are looking at that as a solution. I just didn't want to put that as a solution today, but that is something that is in the works, as well as frozen fruit bowls. But I wanted to give you what for summer feedings or starting, day one, August and September, these are items that are already stocked across the country in distribution. And then also, I wanted to tell you, okay, so just what we want to be is really a resource to all of you. So if there are commodity items or items that you already have in stock, I would love to provide from our culinary team customized recipes that just support you. So you can take that and lean in as far as if you just wanted to say, all right, we've got chicken and and we're bringing in maybe our diced mango. We can provide 10 recipes that could be a solution for snack and breakfast and lunch. So know that we have chefs on staff that are waiting and willing to provide that to you guys too. And then
and I would love to have a copy of some of that information, because I am building a web page dedicated to things just like that. Manufacturers presenting their ideas for menu ideas or recipes, or your 15 minutes of video fame, talking about some of these combinations of foods that could be quick and easy. And so I'm working on that right now for all the manufacturers, anyone who wants. It's not just awarded manufacturers, it's just anyone. So I think that's another side that the districts are really eager to see and hear, and help them learn some new tricks.
That's great. Yeah, I know we've updated our website just to kind of do it by segment, and then we have our chefs on there with some quick, easy tips and videos and recipes that are more geared to pre-packaged and grab and go. So yeah, I'd love to send some of those your way too. And then the final two real solutions, utilizing our frozen fruit, and especially the chef ready cut, what we call it, where it's diced and sliced, is we're calling it our do yourself fruit bowls. So that's incorporating, and I've got a little sheet here and I'll send it over your way, but we're reducing our cost across our frozen chef ready cuts, taking it $2 off. to really help support if you need those containers with lids. We'll help cover the cost on that. And so we've got a rebate in place for that. And that can be a combination of whether it's mango, pineapple. I love the idea of the Tropical Tuesday and the Frozen Fruit Friday. So that's another solution we put in place while we're waiting on these shelf-stable fruit bowls. We've got frozen fruit that's stocked and ready everywhere. And then also something fun for the kids. We have these printable, I can email them out. They're on our website, but you just download. We have 3 different versions of these little placemats that have quizzes and cute little drawings and activity sheets that you can print out and put in your meal kits as you're handing out summer feeding programs or even when the school starts. So that's just another way that we're trying to be creative and think out the box and support everyone during this time. But I think that's about it that I've got.
Okay. So I do have a quick question. So knowing that, your company does a lot of the IW already, and you're heavy on retail as well, are you finding that you're having trouble getting the packaging material?
No, and when you asked that question earlier, I made a note to answer that. So I'm glad you asked again. Because food is an essential item, we have not had any shipping delays or anything. I mean, the only reason we're out of stock is because we truly are out of supply. But that was one of my early questions back in March or April to what are our ports doing? Is there a holdup on that end? And there's just a green light on getting all food and that's essential items through the border. So our fruit bowls do come from Thailand and the Philippines. All of our frozen, we have a warehouse here in the States. So that's why I just encourage us to look at frozen as another option.
Right. Okay. Elizabeth, are there any questions? Or Meredith?
Goodness.
You're muted. Okay.
Yes. So most of the questions, Keri, are for you. Then there's the last question was about how do we access the rebate with Dole?
Okay. Well, I don't know if that's on our website, but is there a way that is my email address provided on this?
So what I'm going to do
the $2
is
direct. So I'd probably just give you that pricing.
Okay. What I was going to say is, at the end of the meeting, each of the panelists will receive an email from me asking for any documents or links they would like to share with the audience. And I will be sharing that on the multi-region website. So now that I'm saying that, panelists, I may not need to send an email.
Okay.
So if, so Frank had sent me something earlier. I'm sorry, Meredith had sent me something earlier to send out, and Frank mentioned some documents he'd like to share with the audience. So I will be making that accessible on the multi-region website. So whatever you would like to share, and I'll be including, email contact, we'll get that done. Okay, anything else you'd like to add, Meredith? You got about a minute?
No, I mean, the rebate really is if you're trying to get the little individual containers with lids, we want to take that burden off you. So that's where the rebate comes in. So maybe it's easier than a rebate. It's just deducting the cost and me helping source the cup and lid for you and shipping direct to the schools that need it. But we can figure kind of that out in the background.
And I think often, and I know I do this as well, we start looking at pricing and we see something that's IW or portion packed and we go, oh my gosh, I can't afford that. But did we step back and take into consideration, well, if I get the bulk pack, I've also got to buy the containers and the lids, and it's going to take my staff 2 hours longer to assemble all that. All of that is cost to your budget. All of that is cost to the district. So, I talk to directors quite often about when they have their private warehouses and they think they're saving. And a lot of times they are, but a lot of times when you really get down to just everything, are you really saving? So I think that a lot of factors need to be considered when you're looking at some of these products that are more readily available as an IW already, and considering the cost and really consider what's it going to take for you to do all of that. So things I think that we forget to think about. I know I do.
Mhm.
So,
We look at ourselves as an ingredients company. So you might use our fruit in a do-yourself fruit bowl, but then we want you to also bake with it or put it in something savory. So I don't know, keeping it I don't know, that individually wrapped I know that's a need and it's being demanded right now, but I want us also to be a resource to y'all to say, okay, if you brought in our diced pineapple cubes, let me show you 10 ways you can use it.
yes.
So
I like that. Thank you, Meredith. I appreciate that. Okay, so next up, I've got Rita LaCoy from Labatt Food Service. So go ahead and take it away.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Rita. I am the branch manager for Labatt Food Service in Dallas. I've been here 30 years next month. I'm old. And in all these years, I've never seen anything anywhere close to anything like this. So we're all navigating this together at the same time, having seen it before. So spring break, that was a lot of fun. Y'all went away and you never came back. And so what do? Like we stopped orders, like all these poor manufacturers are telling you, because we had a warehouse full of product. So we have basically we have like a 3-week supply based on your forecast, your calendar, your menus, and the manufacturer lead time, like you've heard today. So you stop buying and then for a couple of weeks and then you start it up again, yay, but it was like nothing you had told us you were gonna buy. It wasn't your fault, it wasn't anybody's fault, it's just we had to all pivot because now you're doing curbside feeding and the stuff you're doing before wasn't gonna work for that. So that's where we were at. So where are we at today? Well, we have a warehouse full of product. I won't even talk about perishables. That's like another subject, but we have a warehouse full of your frozen items for you. And so like Keri was asking me a while back, like, do you have a list of the items the manufacturers are all saying they are overstock on a lot of stuff? Do you have that list? Well, I can tell you what the list is. It's all the stuff we have, because what we have is what you were going to order, and what they have is what we were going to order from them. So it's all those same items. So that moves us into start of school. What would be ideal for us? You could probably guess for all of us, ideally, if you can continue buying what you were buying before this whole disaster happened, that would be perfect. It's so fluid, this situation, so who knows, right? That's what we would like you to do. I actually have a huge district in DFW that has already committed to that. They're like, we are going to buy, we're going to stay on the same menu, we're going to buy the same items, we're not doing individually wrapped. And what they're focused on right now is working with DART, Pactiv, all these other companies to figure out the best and the most economical way to get these regular menu items to the kids in the class. Or if it's in the cafeteria, then they'll be great, right? We're lucky to be in this state. Sorry, Winnie, but your state probably is going to be more likely to not allow it in the cafeteria. Ours, we have a better chance, I think. So that's what we would like for you to do. That's what the manufacturers like. That's what we would like. And how does it work better for you? Well, we're going to have that product. Like Maria said, I mean, we've got a lot of that bulk item product. And if you all decide, well, I want to do individually wrapped, well, good luck to all of us, right? I mean, you're gonna be working with your rep a lot because we have this item, but we don't have this item. We're gonna have to change out the menus, and we'll work the best we can. So the best thing, if you can pull it off, is to stick with your regular menus and try to go away from the individually wrapped. We'll see how possible that is, right? So the manufacturers talking about individually wrapped. They're all kind of telling us the same thing, right? We don't anticipate a lot of issues coming fall. But then in the same breath, they're going to say, but if everybody goes to individually wrapped, well, all bets are off. We're going to do the best we can. The demand is going to be more than the supply, and we'll figure it out. So that's what pretty much everybody's saying. There are a couple of instances, and I think Keri touched on one, where we already know, they're already telling us you're going to have issues with these particular items. I'll tell you of two right now. One is the Smucker's Uncrustables. You recall before COVID, there were two two manufacturers in the space. It was Smucker's and it was Advanced Pierre with the Jamwich. And then they did away with it, Advanced Pierre, they left that space. And Smucker's did a pretty decent job of handling that extra demand that came on. But then this hit and it was like, forget it. They didn't have enough facility to cover all of this. So they're telling us now, like, it's gonna be an issue in the fall. And some of y'all, especially the ones that are doing your warehouse direct delivery, you already know that because they've told you that too. I think, like right now, I'm okay. I'm okay with what I'm supplying for school, the forecasting for the summer schools, we have it for y'all. But fall, they're saying, I think they're allocating to us, and most likely it's gonna be whatever our usage was last year, which is like not even close to what it would be this year. So I'm just telling you that so you can think about that. If you're thinking you want to serve those in the classroom, I would like kind of tell you that's probably not a good idea because we're probably not going to have it for you. The other thing, like Keri talked about, is gloves. Gloves, we already heard are going to be an issue. We're meeting with different manufacturers now to try to get as much as we can in stock for you guys. What I would suggest is that you get with your sales reps and make sure they have an accurate forecast of what you're gonna need. What I would not suggest is that you do the whole toilet paper grocery store thing. We had, last week I had a little tiny district order 125 cases of gloves. So that's not gonna fly. We're gonna catch it and we're gonna stop it and we're gonna have you order, you know, what you normally order. We wanna have enough for everybody and spread it around and not have the whole.
And Rita, thank you for saying that, because that was one of my questions to Labatt or any other distributor out there, is that, you know, are you going to be basically kind of policing that kind of frenzy to hoard all the product? Because that is a concern, because then that cuts out everyone else, and then there's a whole now delayed lead time. And so I'm glad to hear that you're watching that, because that makes it fair for everyone.
Yeah, we do police. We're not going to allocate. We're not going to say every district can only have 2 cases, because you have these little tiny 2 school districts and then you have some with 200 schools. But we do get exception reports. I get them, the sales reps get them, the buyers get them. So if somebody normally orders 3 cases a week and now they ordered 80, we get that immediately and we'll call and say, no, we can't do that. Sometimes we can, like if you're going to order pizza, Maria would be happy if they ordered 100 cases right now, because we have it. So it's just the items that we know are going to be tight. We're going to stop you if you try to order a ton of them. So yeah. Okay. So those were the 2 items that I know about. So now, how can we navigate going through getting up to fall? Communication. Communication is key, even more so than any other year. And unfortunately, it's a year where nobody knows what they're doing and the situation's so fluid and changing every day. Every year we ask all the districts, give us your orders before you leave for the summer, right? Give us your opening orders, give us your opening orders. And this year, no different. We need your opening orders. And I know you all are like, what the heck? I don't have an opening. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what the government's gonna do. I don't know what the virus is gonna do. I know, we know that. But you do know what you want to do and what you think you are going to do. And that's the order that we want from you, okay? What you think you're gonna need for the opening of school. What is the most likely scenario is the orders that we need. Why do we need that? Why do you need it now, Rita? You're not gonna order until like August. Well, we need it because we need to know what you're gonna order. We have a lot of manufacturers already asking us for that information, right? You see Winnie over there, she's very animated. So see, they all need that because they, like I said, they have to be one step ahead of us. When we place the order, they pretty much have to know what we're gonna ask for. They can't just go scramble and make it right when we order it. So right now, we're asking, like, by the end of July for sure, I need all your orders. We're not gonna hold you to that. I'm not gonna make you buy every single thing you say you need right now. If it changes, that's fine. Just call the rep and we'll take that off and add this item, but we'll have a good idea of what you're all gonna use. What we do with all those opening orders right now is we consolidate them all And then we sort them by manufacturer, and then we give that information to all the manufacturers. We say, this is what they're telling us they're going to buy for the opening orders. We would ask that if you could give us week 2, week 3, week 4, that would be great too, because we know exactly what you need, and we're not going to forecast and try to figure out what we think you're going to need. We'll know exactly. Otherwise, we're going to forecast and we're going to try to figure it out. And we might go by last year's forecast. So the more information you can give us, the better. That's going to work for us, for the manufacturers, and for you in the end.
Rita, I'd like to ask a question as well, and it's maybe coming up in your next part. I would like for you to address, because there were some changes with Labatt this year with my bid renewal, and insofar as low volume products versus some of the higher volume movers. Can you talk about that and why COVID impacted Labatt's ability with some of these lower volume products?
Yeah, and I think Winnie touched on that a little bit when she's asking, hey, order the high movers and not the low movers. So what happened with COVID, like I said, I've been here 30 years, this has never happened, right? Where everybody just stopped buying. Well, in the past, we're bringing in items for all of you guys. And even though everybody else buys one of these 5 chicken nuggets, you have to have this one. And so when you stop buying it, I couldn't sell it to everybody else. It's just stuck there and it's gonna die there, especially if it's perishable. So we've all had to rethink the way we do this. Like I sell to restaurants too. On the restaurant side, if a restaurant wants us to bring in an item, especially for them, they actually will sign an agreement. Hey, I need you to bring in 100 of these. They're committing to buying all those 100 cases. So if COVID happens and we have 50 here and it goes out of date, they're gonna pay for those 50 cases. Well, you guys aren't gonna do that. I'm not expecting you to do that. But on my end, that's a little difficult for me to handle if this happen. I mean, it could happen again. You know, it could have another resurgency come up in the fall, right? So yeah, Keri's right. We're going to consolidate a little more on that. We need for everybody to try to, hey, and you hear from your rep, hey, we have these 3 other items that are the exact same item. I need you to try to buy that. Please be open to that. We'll send you a sample. We'll help you. All these other schools are buying it and their kids like it. Can you look at that item? Because if you stop buying it, I'm in trouble. We're all in trouble. And also, when we have a ton of it on hand, like Winnie can tell you, if you buy a certain item that everybody buys, we're always going to have supply for that. If you don't, if you're buying one that we sell 2 or 3 a week, if we run out and it takes 3 more weeks to get in, now you're waiting, you know. So you want to buy the fast moving, high turn items. They're going to be the freshest items. They're going to be what everybody wants anyway. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. And, you know, as you were talking, I was thinking about, you know, also schools that experience more shorts and substitutions are often those districts that are changing their mind and not giving enough notice. And I think that one thing that COVID is going to do for all of us is that forecasting has to be there, not just a week out. I am talking 4 weeks out. You've got to really hunker down and know what are you going to serve and stick to it. You know, plans have to be in place. I think the whimsy, COVID is going to take the whimsy out of a lot of this, you know, which is a positive to me. I've been trying to downsize my catalog for, what, 4 years now?
I know.
Thank you, COVID. So one thing that's coming out of this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a lot else to talk about, but the main thing is communication. Opening orders, you know how that's always crazy for us because y'all's orders are so much heavier than a regular order at the start of school. Now they'll probably be even heavier because you've been out for so long. So know that we have the same amount of trucks. Everybody wants deliveries the same week and we can't do it. So we're going to ask you to work with us. It won't be on your regular day. It's going to be spread out over a few weeks. The other thing that seems to be fluid right now too is when the kids' first day of school is going to be. I heard from a district yesterday that we had on our paperwork, they were going to start on August 19th, but the school board voted yesterday they're going to start on August 3rd. So I would just ask you to, as soon as you know that that has changed, call your rep, we put the start date in our system right away, so it flags the buyer when your product is gonna be needed. We can change the routing and get everything straightened out. So like I said, as long as we know what's going on, we can handle it. We've been through a lot of crap together. You know, we've been through hurricanes and ice and everything else. We'll get through this. We'll work together. Yes, there may be shortages. We're going to work with you. We're going to make sure we get you something that is acceptable to you and the kids. And we're going to all make sure that the kids will always get fed every day throughout this whole situation. All right, that's all I've got.
Thank you, Rita. Right on time. And I do want to say that, you know, another area where there is really a gap in information being shared, and directors hear it, they understand it, but, you know, often they are not the ones getting to make that decision. When does school open? How is the food service expected to be served, you know, and handled? They're getting that from their administration. And I think a lot of those people at the administration level, they haven't been what I call the trenches. They don't understand all the ins and outs and just all the little fine balances of food service. And I'm hoping that maybe some of the food service directors that are attending this will share some of this with their directors or their superintendents, so that there's that education piece, so that they can learn, oh, wow, this is way more involved than what I thought. And there's so many moving parts that maybe our decision wasn't a good decision to start August 3rd. We may not get food. No, just kidding. They're going to get food. But, you know, I mean, you have to really consider a lot of those things. And if you're not in the food service industry, you don't understand that until someone educates you. All right, Elizabeth, any questions for Rita while we get ready to move on to Cary with McCain Foods?
We actually have 4 questions. Some of these may be more of a one-on-one, so I'm not sure. The first one, can Labatt look at real-time information on the website order confirmation, so when you're out, we know a little earlier?
Yes, we can. Just you would just arrange that with your sales rep as to when you want to be called once you place your order.
Okay.
And you might see some out, so if you're placing it way ahead of time, you might see outs that, you know, the truck's going to get there 2 days later and it's going to be okay. That's why you would communicate with your rep to know what really is going to be out at the time that we ship.
Thank you. The next one may be the same thing about working with their rep. The question is, our district is all over Texas. Can every Labatt location get the same products?
That's kind of a loaded question. It depends on if it's for, if it's on your bid, you're going to be able to get it. So I might carry an item here that one district, hopefully all that goes away, but one district buys it and nobody buys it in Houston, so we won't have that item. But we do have access to all items. I would just say if it is on your bid, yes. No, yeah, pretty much, yes.
And they should only be buying products on bid.
Right.
That's the key. Okay, 2 more. Are schools anticipating smaller opening orders due to the fact that kitchens may still be full of product?
I haven't heard that. I think a lot of you guys probably can answer that better that are in your areas. I haven't heard a lot of that. I haven't looked at all the opening orders that we have so far. It doesn't seem that way, but I think what happened with the summer feeding was a lot of you used as much as you possibly could that was already in your kitchens because it was going to go bad. So I don't anticipate that, and y'all can tell me differently.
Okay. And then 1 more. When we place orders with Labatt on Thursday, Friday for a Wednesday delivery, we sometimes don't know until Monday what items are going to be shorted. So probably wanting an earlier maybe response time there.
Yeah, so we can get with you on that. But I mean, if the trucks, and if it's individually wrapped items, sometimes you don't know because the truck gets here and they're shorting, you know, we order 500 Crustables, Uncrustables, they're only giving us 200. So that might be why at the last minute. But I would just say, work closely with your sales rep. Keri has my information. If you need information on anything, your rep or anything, you can email me and I'll get that to you. We're one company. We're on one system, so we all work together.
And what I'll say to that is, as I've talked to some districts, that, you know, I think schools need to have a plan A, B, and C in place. Plan A is that we ordered IW products, they came in, it's good. Plan B is Well, we ordered IW products. They didn't come in. We got sub bulk, but we've got the containers and we can put this together ourselves. And then plan C is we're out of containers. We couldn't get them. We got bulk packed foods. Now what are we going to do? We've got to serve in the cafeteria or seal trays with wax paper or a saran wrap, something like that. And I think that you know, that fluidity, that flexibility, it's almost a mandate going into this next school year that you have to stay flexible and be prepared for the worst and expect, you know, that this is not going to happen. But if it does, you're not in a panic because you've got that plan C in place. So important.
Right.
All right. Any more, Elizabeth? And we'll move on to Keri and give her some time here.
Yeah, just that 2 schools confirmed that they have been using their products over the summer programs.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Rita. All right. So now we have Keri Block with McCain Foods, and I'll let you take it away, Keri.
Thanks, Keri. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay, perfect. Awesome. So thank you, Keri, so much for putting this together. I think this is going to be our new norm going forward for a little while on how we do business. It's going to take a little adjustment on my end because I miss everybody so much, seeing everybody in person and giving them, I cannot wait to get out there and give everybody a big hug. It's just crazy being kind of stuck away from everybody. What I thought I'd do is just kind of hit on the topics that Keri gave us to begin. And the first topic or the first question that she raised is, will your company be producing any IW portion packed items? And unfortunately for McCain, it's going to be a no for right now. We are working on some stuff, but as you know, French fries don't hold up great in a pre-portioned pack. So we're working on some different ideas to maybe address that in the future. But for the start of school right now, we don't have anything that I can offer that would be IW. The current status of our product on hand in our warehouse and what we can produce right now is actually great. I'm probably echoing a lot of the same things that other people said. You know, at the beginning of this, right after spring break or during spring break, a lot of orders started beginning to be canceled. And we kind of just stocked up as much as we could on our warehouse. And so we do have a lot of product available. I don't anticipate shorting anything at the start of the year. We've kind of just gauged our forecast right now off of usage from last year, and then just I'm trying to filter in the information as it comes in when we receive it from schools if they've decided to change products or to minimize what they're using at the start of the year. So we should be raring to go when schools are ready to open. Our lead time has not changed. We're still a 2-week lead time. That's 2 weeks to the distributor or 2 weeks to a direct customer if you're buying direct. I think we have even some shorter lead times on some of our bigger distributor customers. I'm just not sure exactly what they are. But if you are going to change something, we do really appreciate a 2-week, heads up so that we can make sure we have the product at our DC center here in Dallas or there in Dallas. And that way we can get it to where we need to get, which distributor or which school district we need to get it over to. Number 4, we don't expect any shorts. We will be producing all of our original offered products. We don't have a supply issue as far as potatoes right now. I know last year coming into the school year, our crop was going to be tight on potatoes. And with this all going in the way it happened with the COVID-19 and the corona, we actually had a surplus of potatoes, and we ended up giving a couple million pounds to food banks in Canada and here in the US. So we tried to produce everything that we could, but we still ended up, with several million pounds that we were unable, and we didn't want it to go to waste. That was the biggest deal, is we didn't want to throw it away. We didn't want it to go to waste. So we wanted to make sure that everybody, if it could be used, it was being used. I guess the struggles, it's just like everybody. It's the uncertainty of the unknown of how school is going to be opening up, how schools are going to be serving foods. Is it going to be more classroom style? Are they going to be able to serve in the cafeteria, or is it going to be meals in the classrooms? And what we can do to help you with those transitions into those kinds of feedings. So I think those are our biggest struggles right now. We have put together a really nice resource page on our website. Keri, am I able to share my screen?
No, but I'll be sharing the links so they can go directly to that page. There are a lot of you guys that have created some pretty awesome pages that I've seen so far.
Okay, no problem. We've put on that page a resource on how to package to-go fries, like in a sleeve with a cool little napkin that goes over the top of the sleeve so that it ventilates it a little bit so they don't become, you know, weepy. If you're going to do it in one of those clamshell containers, you know, we suggest you put some ventilation at the top to let some of the steam out so that the fries stay nice and crispy. We've given on our website as well as a resource of like our top products that hold the best. If you're going to do transportation or packaging, pre-packaging them, there's like 5 items. You know, of course, tater tots do great, smiles do great. We've got all of our crispy bake smart snack items have that nice coating on them that make them hold up better and stay better in the warmer, and again in packaging and transport. So those are going to be probably our most popular items right now, and what we're probably producing. We've ramped up production on that just to anticipate that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned, because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what were your ideas about, you know, having a fully packaged, you know, French fry situation? Because a lot of them do put them in the boats or a sleeve without a lid. But then it brought to my mind, like some of the restaurants, I won't mention which fast food restaurants I attend, you know, I patronize, but it's just the paper bag and they just twist the top, you know,
Right.
so that it kind of protects the whole bag, but it's still breathable and
Right.
not.
They just need to get a little bit of air so that otherwise there's that steam because potatoes are 90% moisture, and you're trying to bake the moisture out of them when you bake them. But when you cover them completely, the steam just turns, you know, they become soggy. So we're trying to eliminate that factor right there. But if you just lightly cover them, like in a French fry sleeve with a little napkin, there's a little on our webpage. There's just a couple little ideas that you can use in packaging French fries that will help with the longevity and the quality of the product. And then we also have on there, you know, again, we don't know if there's going to be a resurgence of the COVID later, and we're going to go back to the kind of curbside feedings if schools are out on breaks. We have some what we call our take and bake instructions on where you can actually create a label, and if you wanted to send it frozen home with the student, where they could take and bake it, and we've tried to take the guesswork out of that for you too as well. So if you wanted to send multiple meals home at a time and you send them home frozen and they wanted to bake it, we've got it listed for you on how to do that. And then also, you know, the website is a great resource for recipes. We have our K-12 hub that has recipes on there. And then we also have all of our nutritional and cooking instructions for any product that we offer. So I do strongly recommend, if you haven't been on there, it's www.McCain4schools.com, and we have our own dedicated K-12 site. So it's just a plethora of information for everybody out there. And I think
I will get that. Yeah, thanks, Keri. I will get that added to the list. You know, I think that is, you know, you talk about the multiple meals, and of course during the emergency feeding, we saw a lot of districts take that approach because it was the safest for their staff and just the easiest. You know, going into the new school year, we're hearing lots of different ideas about how they're going to reopen, and yeah, I love the fact that many of you do provide the baking or the heating instructions or the sticker that says, you know, frozen, thaw, whatever, because if schools go to A-B schedules where half the students are there on a Monday, Wednesday, then the other half Tuesday, Thursday, what happens to those kids that needed that free or reduced meal on the 2 days they're not in school? And what about those participating in the backpack program? How are these kids going to take home that amount of food, you know? Or even if it's a 4-day week, you know, there's going to be that one day where those free and reduced need to get a meal. So I think a lot of things are being, you know, discussed and talked about. I know that TDA is closely working, obviously, with USDA on waivers and what is all this going to look like. But those are pieces that may become very important as we reopen in the fall. You know, if kids got to take home an extra meal for the next day because they're not at school. I don't even know if that's even possible. Lena could probably answer to that. She's hearing more from the direct source than I am. But yeah. All right, anything else you wanted to add to your time here?
No, just thank you again for having me on the panel. I do appreciate it. And again, I miss everybody.
Yes,
Big
I hear
hugs
that a
out
lot
there.
from everyone. All right, you guys, that pretty much wraps up the panelist time. I don't know if we have any questions hanging out there, Elizabeth. Anything for Keri?
No questions.
Okay, great.
Now, I did notice you've got several people with their hands up, so you'll probably reference them maybe.
Okay, let me see. I was not watching the, okay, I've got 3. Oh, hang on.
Oh, yeah,
How
4
do-
or 5 now.
Okay, Lena, I think you've got the floor. I think that if you unmute yourself, you should be able to talk.
Okay, and what would you like me to talk about, Keri? You want me
Oh,
to?
I thought you had your hand up. Is that from earlier?
Yeah, I think it's from earlier.
Okay.
Oh,
Let
I
me-
see it's telling me to lower it. Sorry.
Okay. Oh, no, that's okay. All right. So Robbie Richardson, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the mic. You've got your hand raised. Go ahead. You should be able to unmute yourself, Robbie, and ask your question. I don't see you unmuted. Oh, hang on. Try that again. I'm new to Zoom webinar, so I'm feeling my way through.
You're doing great, Keri.
Thank you. Okay. Robbie, I think I can hear you if you wanted to speak. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go to Laurie Humiston. All right, Laurie, I'm going to unmute you if you would like to ask a question or you had your hand raised. Maybe they don't know they had their hand raised.
She's still muted, Keri.
Oh. Well, I'm clicking on unmute. Okay. Maybe there's something I'm doing. I'm clicking unmute. Laurie, if you're still listening. Okay, well, maybe it's not working on my end. Okay, well, I do see them. Oh, maybe it's just taking a few minutes. Okay, I've got the 4 individuals that had their hands raised. Oh, Robbie, okay. Are you there? I'm not hearing anything. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. For those of you that if you had a question that did not get answered, we will answer those offline. Some came in a little more specific than what was being discussed in the panel discussion. If you had a question and we just couldn't, maybe you didn't have a microphone, we couldn't hear you or whatever the situation is, go ahead and shoot me an email or Elizabeth an email and we'll get those answered. And I just want to say thank you to all the panelists. I so appreciate your time today and being the first group. I am going to ask for some feedback and I would love to hear your honest feedback if you feel a different format would have worked better. But I hope all the attendees gathered some good information, got a little better lay of the land as we all determine how to reopen in the fall. So again, thank you everyone. This was great.
Thank you so much.
See more.
Bye.
Love it.
Thank you, Keri. Great job. Thank you.
Goodbye everyone. Have a great
Bye.
rest of the week.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you to all of
guys.
you.
Bye.
Thanks so much to everyone. Stay safe.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for attending
Bye.
the Food Service View.
Love your background, Keri.
Thank you. I
Cool
created
show.
that. Thanks.